Welcome,
It
everybody.
also
I
looks
will
like
be getting my vitamin D.
the
Ugh,
sun came out an hour ago. It also looks like it could be setting any moment now. Like it looks
and it
like
will.
an hour.
And it will. You know what? The thing is that I mean, now the time is going a little bit more, so you'll probably notice it in our lives. But like before, it would be dark by 4, but now it's like sunset. I could probably look it up. Sun setting at like 4:15, 4:20. Like, so we have a little bit of time. I still have my ring light on just in case things get crazy. And because the sun could be gone, it looks like there's literally not that many clouds in the sky. They all blew away today. So if I just close my eyes and I'm like this, it's not that I'm ignoring any of y'all. It's that I need vitamin D. I'm actually more into it. I'm hearing y'all better when the sun is in my.
Because she's getting her nutrients. Because she's getting
Mm-hmm.
her nutrients. So
Mm-hmm.
I also want to put it out to the chat because Candace and I were literally just talking about this. Two things. One, we are going to be having a special guest on this episode, on this pod, on this Yap sesh. She is currently getting herself settled. She just dropped off the little nugget at school.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Kayleen. She was the feature for this week. She's going to be hopping on. We're going to be asking some questions about the article. Uh,
Good morning,
yes,
afternoon, evening, night.
good,
Love it.
good existence, everyone.
Whatever
Um,
time, area, place, period you're in, welcome.
you exist, and hello to you too, Dynasty. Um, so Kayleen is going to be joining us in a second. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the truly beautiful response that I got from asking folks if they wanted information about a tech conference that I'm going to be attending in the near future and possible job ops that are happening there. Guys, I didn't realize how many people would be interested in this. I love
Hmm.
it. And if there's other, for me, I don't know if it's like this in Aarhus
Hmm.
or Copenhagen, but
And
the amount
yeah,
of conferences that are happening here at
yeah,
all times is wild.
yeah.
And I just happened to be going as a plus one for a friend with a friend of mine.
Oh, fun.
And they told me, hey, like there's a lot of, I heard that there's a lot of companies and they work in like the fancy schmancy tech area. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, hey, like there's a lot of companies in Asia that are looking to hire people and will help them relocate. And it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of them are going to be at this massive conference. I was like, which, like, if there are other things like this that people are
Yeah.
interested in, please let us know. Let us know in this chat. Let us know in the other chat. Like, we would love to know because
Hmm.
these are happening in our areas, and it's free. And from like this conference is free that I'm going to. All of the
Oh, amazing.
talkbacks. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna look all cute. I'm gonna grab a little snack. I'm gonna get a little pen. I'm gonna walk around. Hey, hey, hey. I'm gonna be one of like two and an idea of Black people that are going to be there. Everyone's going to want to yap with me. Of course, I'm going
That
to
sounds
gather all
amazing.
the info. I'm going to gather all the info.
I gotta look more into it because I'm sure, I mean, there's always conferences and things happening, so I gotta like tune back in. Always in Aarhus, but like definitely in Copenhagen, like more and more in Copenhagen. And I just know from like my background, my work, a lot of the conferences I know are within like the marketing or the SaaS space, and not as much like job fair, so to speak, or like other types of conferences. But I'm gonna do some research because I know there are some in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
But if
And
there's
this,
ever like a network too that y'all know and see that they're around or in Sweden, like I can hop over. I can take the ferry over. That'd be fun.
like, there's so many conferences happening in Bangkok at all times. It would be impossible
Yeah.
for people that are not here to alert me to all of them that are happening.
Yeah.
But this one isn't even technically a job fair. Like most of the
Yeah.
conferences that I go to aren't technically job fairs, but there are so many. If you connect and if you ask the right questions, there are so many job opportunities that are out
Yeah.
there that I'm like, oh, duh, Shayna, why didn't you think of this? Okay, now this is so if there are I'm seeing words. How's the working culture in Bangkok? I
Oh, great question.
don't work for the great question. I don't work for a Thai
Mm.
company. My visa actually restricts me from working for Thai companies. Um,
Mm.
from what I see, I actually know somebody who, well, she's working more in the wellness field. She is working as a yoga and Pilates instructor. And she's
Mm.
working at one of those fancy schmancy studios, and she like works on a client by client basis. She loves it.
Yeah.
She loves the work-life balance. I will say Thailand in general, it's not that kind of, I mean, capitalism is everywhere, but the way that it is in the US is not the way that it is here. Like, there's much more of a work-life balance. There's much more of a, like, you don't see people stressed at their jobs
Hmm.
here. Like, like, I see people laughing outside of their jobs all
Yeah.
the time, on their jobs all the time. Um, when it comes to like officey jobs or things like that, I truly don't know. But from what I've been seeing about the work culture, it seems pretty manageable. But once again, these kinds of conferences, uh, regardless of if it's tech or another industry, it's probably going to be more of like a work from home, maybe part time in the
Hmm.
office or fully remote situation. Um, at least the jobs that are going to be available at these conferences.
Yeah.
So these
Question:
are my
do, we talked about this. Do you know what full time? How many hours full time is in Thailand?
I have no idea. I'm gonna try to Google right now.
Google it. I also just feel like that is like one parameter of looking at it, because I think I shared before that in Denmark it's like 37. And not to be like, wow, 3 hours less. But I do think there's something about breaking from the whole like 40 hours regimen that's just like so silly. And we have so much research that says that that's not needed. Um, so I always think that's interesting. Can you answer another question? Are the
So,
opportunities? Oh, sorry.
these
Oh, wait.
are the maximums. So, according to Google, uh, in Thailand, full-time employment is generally defined by labor law as a maximum of 8 hours per day or 48 hours per week for standard non-hazardous jobs. For hazardous work, the limit is 7 hours per day or 42 hours per week. Employees are
Okay.
entitled to at least 1 day of rest per week. Mind you, that is a maximum.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
technically, you could work less and it'd still be considered full time, is what it's saying here.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. And we have another question from Torian. They say, thank you for your answer. Another question: are the opportunities available in tech at these conferences? I think you go to a mix of full time, part time, or is it mostly just full time?
No idea. This is going to be the first conference that I go to where this is going to be offered, or it seems like this is going to be offered. I will be doing all of the digging for you guys.
Yeah.
So the other conference that I've been to was a food and hospitality conference. That was more for like my journalism side of things, getting more information about the hospitality culture, the beverage history of Thailand, getting to know business owners, stuff like that. So there wasn't really a lot of networking for job opportunities there. It was more of people in the hospitality industry showcasing their wares, showcasing the new tech, that kind of a thing.
Mm.
So whether it's full time, part time, can't really say. I would imagine that it's probably going to be more full time. I would imagine.
So
Uh,
that I guess this goes also to the laws, and obviously the Thai visa laws, because I know like a lot of time when people have to sponsor people, so like bringing them in from another country, usually that goes to full time. I know at least for most of Europe, let's say. It's like you're signing up for full-time work. It's usually pretty rare that you can get sponsored and get like a visa from a company to only work part-time. Usually then it's like a project based, or again it's like you're filling a severe need or something like that. But usually just in case people are looking at like other places in Thailand, usually if you're going to get sponsored for work, it's full-time.
Also important to note, while this, like many of the other conferences that are happening here, these are absolutely pan-Asian, conferences, international in general, but definitely pan-Asian. So,
Mm.
yes, there will be a lot of speakers that are going that at all of these conferences. There are, presentations fully in Thai, and there are presentations fully in English, but also there are people from all over Asia, companies from
Mm.
all over Asia that are going to be represented. Maybe not explicitly so, but at least there's going to be representatives from a bunch of places, some of which might be. So sure, there could potentially, I'm not saying definitely. I will do all the research. I will be as honest as I possibly can with what I find and share that with you guys. Um, uh, but yeah, so I'll be talking to Thai people. I'll probably be talking to Chinese people. I'll probably be talking to Japanese people. I'll probably be talking to Vietnamese people, like, or companies,
Mhm.
about what is happening in their countries, what are the needs that they have within the tech, like the specific realms, tech sectors, I guess,
Yeah.
that they have for their companies. So, but like Candace said, this will all probably be full time for the sake of a visa anyway. This would,
Right.
I think, have to be full time for you to get a visa.
Yeah. And okay, completely off, not off topic, technically, because it has everything to do with what, but we haven't talked about this off camera, Shayna. But did you see some of the new laws around Spain's visas that they were starting to?
Wait, there's new law?
We will fact check this because I was seeing like through videos and I saw like one or two articles, so we'll fact check. But I was seeing something of like they're making it a bit easier to get a Spanish visa. And I think it was something like you technically don't have to have it was like maybe it was like a visa that like you could be there and stay but not have to work. And it was something like they either lengthened it to like a year that you have that you can be there without like a work visa or something like that. So we will fact check and get back to you, but look,
I do
also research
know
for yourself.
I do know that Spain has been working on another visa. I think it's out there. We will double check this. But they've been working on another visa that is for people who want to move to Spain, don't have a job yet, but want to work in Spain.
I think that, yeah, it might be attached to
Oh,
that. 'Cause there's something like you can go not have a job yet, but have about a year to figure it out, which is a
yes.
huge hurdle. So that, like for many people, obviously. So look that up. It felt like it was like just this past week. So and with
Oh,
the
so it
state of the
probably
world,
just got like,
yeah, maybe official. Because I saw a few people talking about it being like, it's now easier than ever to like move to Spain and and figure it out. Summer Sanders, figure it out. The OGs will know that reference, and I appreciate any OGs that get that reference. But yeah, so I was gonna double check with you, but I will research it. My handy dandy notebook, I have it, so I will research that and put a link. Spain visa. So if anybody's looking at Spain, that could be a thing. But yeah, we'll definitely try. I know myself too, like try to tap into new networks here, obviously in Denmark and Scandinavia, just like keep an eye on situations with visas and permits because it feels a little bit day by day. Things are changing. And obviously with the situation with the US and Greenland and Denmark and NATO and like all of this stuff, like things are moving.
I don't know
So
if
I could
you saw
definitely feel it.
this. I don't know if you
Mm,
saw this, but I heard, because there's a whole bunch of like conversations, especially with everything that you just mentioned,
yeah,
about certain states or collections of states, potential, once again, not trying to fearmonger, it's all just things that we are
yeah.
hearing. Um, Trying to make their own collective, seceding, if you will. We don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know if that's going to happen. People are just talking. Um, I heard, I heard in the grapevine that
California.
California is trying to re-enter the WHO independently of the
They
United
did.
States as a whole. They
I thought
did.
I thought it went through. I saw that they
Oh,
were it said that like California is like I think the first state to independently re-enter California, Mr.
it is a
Newsom.
good day to be a
But
Californian.
It and my dad, funny enough, because my dad, I love it. He's always been like politically minded, but now he's like Danish, like he's like European politically minded. Like he follows the Copenhagen Post. He gets all the Danish news. Like he sends me stuff before I see it, which I love. But he sent me actually a really funny, I think it was like a TikTok or reel or something, and it was like being California abroad. It's like, oh, so you're from the States? Like, no, 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 I'm from California. No, no, no. And it used to, like I've always kind of said that, but like never more than ever before have I been like, no, I'm from California. Like, look at our record. We have like, especially in Denmark, it's like we have Solvang, we have the Danish partnership. We've like had a partnership with Denmark for a while. obviously like the Denmark and California, we have a lot of projects and eco-friendly projects and the Green Pact and all of these things where it's like California really is, if ever there was a state to succeed and succeed by seceding, it would
Hmm.
be California.
It would be.
Also, we just have the numbers, we have the in like the money coming in, we have it. So I'm like, and truly, I was just meeting with a friend today, one of my former Danish colleagues, and I was just saying, I had this really, and I'm still kind of going through.
California. Sorry.
Yeah, but right. So
Listen, nobody's
we pick and
perfect.
choose. No, no state is perfect. Trust me. Northern California, iffy. Southern California, we love. But and the closer to Mexico, the more I trust. Oh, amazing. Okay, Kayleen, we will bring you in a little bit. Let us know when you're all settled and we'll bring you up. I just saw you
Yeah, just let us
you
know in the
joined.
chat when you're good to go.
Yeah, but no, and actually, Kayleen, this is perfect because Kayleen's getting ready to move like very close. I also know B Harris is getting ready to move
Hmm.
very soon, which is just first of all so exciting that we're like seeing some of our BBA community like make the move, which is just like so incredible. But I was, actually reading the article and just thinking and having conversations with my dad where I'm like, I truly don't know when I can go back home. When I would feel safe to go back home to California to bring my family across the borders. And especially now with what we're doing with BBA, like, oh, my social media is getting flagged. Like it really got to a point where I've always had the option to go back home. And now I feel like it's such a risk. And and I think that's another level of the immigrant experience, which I've been kind of protected from. I know I've been very lucky and very fortunate to be like, oh yeah, I can always like hop on a plane to California. But now it's tightening, and
I
there's a
would
grieving process with that too, where I'm like, it's not just easy to go home anymore
I
or
would say
safe.
that that's not quite the immigrant experience. We're getting much closer to the asylum seeker slash refugee experience within that. Like, my parents are both immigrants, and, they would be able to, technically, they'd be able to visit their countries whenever they want to.
Yeah,
Now, Haiti has a long standing, deeply heartbreaking history of external government interventions, is the opposite of the word, trifling, which destabilizes the
trifling.
government and makes it so dangerous for people
Yeah,
to come back or to travel. Now, there are parts of Haiti that are that I don't want to say thriving, that are doing much better than people expect, but to be able to travel in and out, especially out of Port-au-Prince, is very difficult. But
yeah,
technically, you still can. My
yeah, yeah.
clinically insane father goes in and out of Haiti whenever he wants to. Oh yeah, she's gonna need another link to hop in.
I'll invite you. You'll get another link. I'll invite you through this, Kayleen. So we'll just wrap up and
Okay,
we'll get no
cool,
worries.
cool, cool. But the fear of not being able to go back home because of the
Mm.
destabilized government, because you fear for your life because of the government, that's not necessarily an immigrant experience.
You're so, and also Kirby, for me, part of my grieving is that I'm assuming San Diego and LA that I knew no longer exists. I mean, that part too, but it's actually wow, it's beautiful and really heartbreaking. But like when you talk about that, it's like yes, it's closer to the asylum seeker. But I think for me, it was that transition because when I came here, it was like for fun, right? It was like how cheeky, how fun. And then the longer I've been here, it's like well, now I can't go back. And, I didn't talk about it, live, but I was in the process of re-upping a visa and getting a new visa. And there was a space where I didn't, like, I was just waiting for my visa to come in. And the anxiety of like, if this doesn't come in, where do I go? Like, what are my options actually? Because the US is no longer like a safety option that I can go and definitely not bring my family. So it was just like, it's been some close calls, but I think it's, yeah, that transition of being like, wow, maybe now I'm feeling more into the asylum seekers as far as not feeling, at least in myself, very comfortable going back to my home country, especially the more and more I lean into the important work that we're doing. Um, Wale, any suggestions for an LPR who wants to leave the States but currently in the process of getting their citizenship?
LPR?
And yeah, I was just gonna say, I was like, is it just me? Can you explain the acronym? LPR.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna guess I'm gonna get it wrong. So please let us know. Please educate us. Um, because in the process of getting citizenship to the States, that's also let us know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the if you're planning on getting US citizenship, what's on the table right now is the dismantling of dual citizenship. So you will have to, if you have two citizenships right now, the US as it is right currently, as things keep rolling out, as it looks like they will be, you are probably gonna a
mm,
long-term permanent resident. Um, Working on getting your US citizenship, you are probably going to be forced to choose between US citizenship and the citizenship of your home country,
yeah.
or whatever country you also have citizenship in. Uh, that's unfortunately, you're going to have to weigh that for yourself. If that is
Mhm,
something that when that is posed to you, unfortunately, it's not an if at this point. I feel like it's more of a when. Um,
mhm, yeah. I mean,
they're gonna
while I think I don't know which live it was. I would point you to it, but I totally forget which one it was. But I talked about a similar bit, and I've been going because obviously I have my U.S. passport, and I could go for my citizenship in Denmark, but the reason I've just been going for permanent residency visas. Like there's citizenship and then there's permanent residency visas, right? So I've just been basically going towards these permanent residency visas so that I can still hold my US passport because of exactly what Shayna said. Is like at this point, if I was going to go full Danish citizenship, like I would have to give away my US passport. And so for me, I talked about like and for my daughter, for her to claim it, it's like it's weighing these where I'm like, okay, let me just keep it at this point, but we'll see where the world ends. And obviously you're in a different situation, but it's something to absolutely consider is and look into is like the strength of the passports or the citizenships that you hold. Um and where you want to go also like because that's an extra visa that you are bringing into the mix. Um, let's see. I know for Taiwan, if you don't actually have citizenship, they don't care. But becoming a Taiwan citizen, you do not have to give up your other citizenships, right? And I think it also isn't it on both parts. It's like both countries have to agree that you can have dual, essentially, because
yeah.
there's some countries you can have dual with U.S. or other ones, and there's some countries you can't. So it's very case by case, country by country. Well, I just don't didn't know what to do because of how this place has been moving. So yeah, if you're in the process of it, let it roll out, I would say, because unfortunately it's so day by day, week by week, and countries outside of the
Unless it's
state.
gonna put you into debt. I will say, like, you could let it roll out unless it's gonna put you into debt. If it's gonna
That
put
part,
you into
absolutely.
debt, if it's gonna put you in a financial situation where you go, "Oh, no, if push comes to shove, if I can't be here for too long, hey, Tracy, like, if that's the case, you would have to ask yourself once again, we're not gonna
Yeah,
tell you what to do, what not to do,
absolutely.
but, like, you would have to ask yourself, "Is me further investing my resources into the United States something that makes the most sense for me and what I want for myself, for my future? Is that the is me investing more into the United States for long term for me to be here long term or to be indefinitely connected to the United States. Because also, once again, if you have US citizenship, I think this is the only country where no matter where you move to, you are always forced to pay taxes to the United States
Or
if you
file.
are making money, and you are always forced to file taxes to the
Yes.
United States. And if you make money in the United States, you always have to pay taxes on that money.
Yeah.
Only country that makes you do that. So is that something that you're okay with? Is that something that would
Mhm.
work to your long term plans? If not, things to consider. Yeah.
Absolutely. Incredible point. And Kirby also has a great point. Also, just check the country's process because some countries will give you a grace period to renounce your old citizenship after getting the citizenship because they obviously know there's a transition period. Taiwan gives you a year grace to give up your other one when you get a Taiwan citizenship. So a lot it's going to be case by case, like we said. So it's doing the research, like figuring out the countries, your home country, maybe the country you're looking to move to, and the U.S. and just seeing the pieces. But ultimately it is like checking in with yourself energetically, financially. What are you willing to bet on the states at the point? And like I said, for me, I'm like, I'm just cooling off. Like I'm not doing anything until I can see, because maybe I won't say anything on camera, but maybe something crazy happens to that man and maybe things swing the other way. I don't know. There's too many people. There's too many people.
We're gonna have Kayleen come on in a hot
Yes.
second. I will say, regardless of, and I don't want to, I'm gonna have to burst everybody's bubble who has this bubble. Regardless of what happens to that man,
There's too many people.
there's too many people, and there's too much money behind. It's not just him. There's money behind what he represents. There's money behind what
Yeah.
his institutions represent, what his administration represents, and these are long standing roots that all have deep pockets. So what is happening right now in the US, regardless of what happens to this man, the snowball is down the hill. The avalanche is already rolling in. One snowflake getting picked
Mm,
out isn't going to change the
abs-
avalanche.
no, that's,
So,
I mean, it's sobering, but again, when we're equipped with the realism, then we can have a little bit more optimism when we can, right? Same for Wallet. Yeah, I know, appreciate Julie's input. I think was just also the strength of the passport and re-upping the permanent residency, I'm assuming card too. It's all fresh. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's changing day by day. So that's what the thing is, like, if you can't make a strong decision, this is for life advice. If you can't make a strong decision based off the information you have at that moment, I say wait if you can. If you can, I'm always like, life will present you more information to sway you either way. So if you can give yourself time, let yourself see it play out. If you have a deadline for something, of course, honor that, right? Don't get yourself in trouble with anything. But if you can give yourself time just to see what's happening, there's just too much happening. I don't think, if this was 5 years ago, I don't know, I think we could maybe give more stable advice, but it's just truly things are changing so day and day. Like we could have Denmark could be like, oh, we're opening asylum to U.S. citizens tomorrow, and no, I would not be shocked. And then we'd be hopping on here, be like, get your ass to Denmark, right? Which all of California would be like, great. There was also, again, it kept like getting repopulated where it's like Denmark wants to buy. I think they were at first it was like Denmark wants to buy the states, but then it was like Denmark specifically wants to buy California, and I was like, put me on the board. Put me on the board. I'll donate to it.
They
I don't
would
know.
put
I
you
don't know.
on the board.
Put
They
me
would.
on the board, because if there's a state to buy, I know I'm biased.
But she knows the state. She knows the
And
state.
then I could
And
go there for vacation. For my summer vacation, I could go to California, and well, actually my winter vacation, go to California. Summer, come here and get the 20 hours of light. I love it. Oh, Kirby, just so you know, the strength of the passport is not as big of a thing as you think. The origins of it is pretty much colonialism, America. Yes, Americanism, absolutely. Also, U.S. passport doesn't have the strength it used to because of the current situation. Absolutely. That's why it's like that, the strength,
growing by day.
that again, this is speaking to my whole thing where I'm like, I'm holding on to this hope. Like, it's basically like holding on to like a bad stock where I'm like, I'm hoping at one point it's going to upturn. But I'm seeing it right now. And honestly, a stronger passport is like Australia, like the Pacific passport, Australia, New Zealand. I think UK also, I think, is kind of going down. But they're
Singapore.
stronger.
I think Malaysia is also incredibly
I was going to say, I
strong.
was like,
Like,
I think Pacific Asian countries are have been historically, I think, stronger than the American marketing of their passport has led us to believe. So it's not even the strength of the passport. It's quite literally specifically where can you travel to safely and easily. Like that's what we talk about with the strength is like where can you travel to with the least resistance as far as paperwork and visas and all of that stuff. But again, all of that is changing. So to Kirby's point, like day by day, that strength is dropping or morphing or changing altogether.
okay, I'm gonna say one last thing, and then we're
And
going
then
to
we,
like
Kaylee, we're bringing you in. This is such a good conversation, though.
Kayleen,
So
thank you for your patience.
thank you.
Something else that I want to throw into this mix because I think your name is Wally. Yes. I don't know what other citizenship you have, and I do want to create a little extra grace for going back to the whole colonialism conversation. A lot of Black nations, a lot of African nations, a lot of diasporically melanated nations, when it comes to this passport power conversation, have been Trinidad.
Mhm.
Okay. Island gal. Hey.
Hi,
So
Linda.
when it comes to the way that our passports have been so heavily devalued in comparison to Western nations, to Asian nations, um, it is very heartbreaking. And while right now I don't know what the power of Trinidad's passport is as opposed to the power of the United States passport, um, but it could seem like the US passport gives you more access to more things right now. And that could be true for right now. But the way that things are going, that like let's say that your passport is somewhere around here. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. Let's say that right now the US passport was all the way up here and now it's like right here. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. What's happening and the avalanche that's coming is just going to, not only is it going to bring down the US passport potentially to here, who knows, but also other nations are going to have to build relationships with other
Hmm.
nations. We're seeing this happen
Yes.
Africa more, like I'm seeing this happen in Africa more critically, where the power of the communities of other nations and the relationships that they're building are going to strengthen the
Mhm.
powers of other passports that have, I'm assuming, I'm predicting, will strengthen the power of other passports that are open to creating community, building wealth, building economies with
Mhm.
other people where the West and the United States have controlled this power. As this is breaking, because what's happening in the US is shadowing everything that's happening across a lot of Europe too. The
Yes.
power structures are are struggling right now, especially as
Mhm.
African nations are cutting the supply chain of uranium, of gold, of copper, of all of these vital resources that Europe has been known for having. They're cutting this off, which means that now there's these huge power imbalances, which will change the way that the passport power is perceived. All this to say, we don't know what's going to happen. But the patterns are patterning very hard right now.
Mhm.
So this is a very long-winded way of saying I recognize that it could be hard for the passport that you have right now, and we don't know what's going to happen to the US passport in truly a week, a day, 12 hours.
Truly. It's that day by day. So it's unfortunately and fortunately, it's staying in tune. It's as much as your nervous system can support, but it's like staying in tune, staying updated on at least like the countries that you're maybe interested in moving in the states, and just like looking at what movement's happening, what news, because it really is day by day. And like Shayna said, it's within the African nations. Then there's like Europe that in similar ways, like now European nations are like, wait. We actually maybe should come together closer than we have before, because now, like, I think that was what I at least recognize, again, not a history major, not a political science major, but what I've been seeing of the news is like with the whole Greenland, like the threat of America coming in and bombing and taking Greenland, it was like not only was it Denmark, but then was like, we are small, but we're mighty. How about we bring in, so like then the EU was like, wait a second, because if you're trying to do it to them, you're going to do it to us. So, like, so it's kind of like the the cousins banding together, being like, we might not be besties, but we got to be friends at this point. So I've already been seeing that and just other visas and opportunities mixing in there. Um, so we'll let that be. Okay, now we're gonna bring in
Kaylee?
Kayleen, and as I'm inviting her, we also have to do our beautiful thumbnail because we forgot to
Yes.
do it.
Okay. Thumbnail time.
Okay. Kayleen, I'm sending you a invite now for co-hosting. Okay, one thumbnail. One, two, three. Incredible. Incredible.
Honestly,
I
I think
needed
that
to
was
get this
cute.
done. I think that was great. I think that
Yeah.
was great. Kayleen, if you're on this call, it says you're not available, so you might have to log off and then log back in. or to the chat, but I'll try to invite you again. Wally, thank you for the information. It was very easy. Okay. So
No
so glad.
problem at all, Wally. This is literally what we have this chat space open for. So thank you so much for bringing your thoughts, your concerns, your questions. Like we, the community, always happy to help where we can. Also know it's a really hard situation.
Yeah, and I hate like I'm glad to hear it's useful because sometimes the most useful bit is just knowing other people get it. Like even if we can't give actual answers, it's nice
Hi.
to be in it together. Oh, hello. Welcome, Kayleen. Thank you so much for joining us.
So cute.
Thank you.
I love. I gotta get my buns back. My daughter's just been into like space buns recently too, and I'm like, you know what? She's coming back. Hair
I love
salon starts when she gets back.
Great job.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
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 Good. So
Okay.
happy to chat with you. I know
Sorry
we
about that.
Shayna, I'm
There's
like,
a lot going on. I know. I'm sorry.
no,
The
No, no,
background.
no. Listen, life
girl,
is
you
so
know I get
easy.
it.
Yeah. No, she actually gets it. I'm pointing down because you're below me right now, but I don't know where you actually are in
I am you
Fine.
beautiful beings are right above. So I love this. But no, thank you. I mean, I also thank you first of all for agreeing to be on here with such short notice. We were like, wait a second, we should ask if Kayleen can hang out and share more. So thank you so much for that. Thank you again so much for writing the beautiful article, which I don't know if I've said it in all of our back and forth, but you're an incredible writer. So thank you just for sharing that in your piece. Like I was saying, it brought up a lot of feelings for me and like reminders for me. So thank you so much for sharing that and just seeing the response so far. I think it's so helpful to have someone in the process. And you're getting ready to move like soon. When is your
girl. You're
Yes.
moving like
date?
now.
Yes, I know. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. So I really been trying to get my documents in order mostly and stuff like that because
Yeah.
it's such a big move. So yeah,
Yeah.
and just my emotional state and stuff like that. It's a lot,
Yeah.
especially with college.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my, do you have an official day that you're like jetting off? Like, do you have flight and everything?
Yes, it will be February 26th.
Congratulations.
I'm putting that
Congratulations. I
to make
also
to reach
want
out
you
to
to know,
you.
Kayleen, I don't know if you were a part of the live that I said this, but for New Year's, I like making a New Year's bingo card. And one of the squares on my bingo card was that I want to, like, whenever the first person from BBA actually makes the move, I'm going to cross off that. So you're going to be on my bingo card.
Oh,
I
Oh,
love that.
that's so cute.
It's it's so exciting. Okay, so we have so many questions and of course not enough time. But if anybody in the chat, if you haven't already, please read the recent article, full guest post from Kayleen, just sharing her journey from Detroit to soon to be Thailand. And if anybody who has read it, if you have questions for Kayleen, please put it in the chat as well so we can field those questions. But I will just start off and say, 'cause I don't believe it was, clear in the article, but what ultimately led you to Thailand? Like, how did you settle on that? And how long was that process of like figuring out where you wanted to go?
Well, honestly, I went the whole last year because I thought about it the beginning of last year, and just
Yeah,
because of everything that was going on, and really, I'm the only child, so I was getting over the hump of leaving my mom behind because I
of
was
course.
scared of leaving her because I'm
Yeah.
the only child. She only have me and my son. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's the closest family she have. So I was scared of that. So now I just decided just make the big decision because I'm like, who am I doing it for? I'm doing it for me, for a better quality of life. So,
Absolutely. Oh my God. And I mean, I know you said it quick, but I know that was probably like a hard bit. And I know a lot of the audience has talked about is like leaving friends and family behind and feeling like you want to take everybody with you, but it's just not feasible. And ultimately you'd have to be like selfish. And it's like selfish on behalf, as a mother, it's like selfish on behalf of you. And you put it so beautifully where it was like I understood or you understood that your immune system and your nervous system,
mhm.
immune and nervous system is directly correlated to your son's.
Uh-huh.
And so it's kind of like that forced selfishness of a parent where it's like, I have to do better for me so that I can do the best for them. And I think that's just so beautiful and I honor that and I see that. myself. Okay, Shane, if you have a question, let me take all.
Okay, I have like two main questions, but they're like two questions that are going to lead to much longer conversations. Um, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go. I feel like I have to start with astrology. Okay, you mentioned astrocartography,
Yes.
and thank you. Thank you. It's a
Shane is gonna be yelling.
hyperfixation of mine. So what was it about? Okay, I'll briefly explain what astrocartography is for the people that don't know. My question for you though is, what was it
Mhm.
about your astrocartography chart that led you to be like, no, this is my confirmation for Thailand?
Yes.
So briefly, just to catch everybody up that might not be new, that might be new to this.
Mhm.
Astrocartography, from how I use it, is basically the super implementation of your personal chart,
Mhm.
your natal chart, onto the globe. So it
Mhm.
colors different locations that might bring out certain kinds of experiences for you, whether that's in interpersonal relationships and the way that you communicate, in the way that you grow, in the way that you express yourself. It's your astrology chart on the globe. Okay, Kayleen,
Mhm.
please.
Yeah. So the main thing is because my moon sign runs through Malaysia and Thailand. Like the line
Mm.
on the line, it runs through there. And
Oh,
then
do
my
you know
sun sign
which?
runs through Peru. So I also want to visit there. Cause like
Ah,
There you go.
visibility.
what are you like a Cancer rising? Do you
I'm a
have like
Gemini rising.
your Gemini rising? What's your moon in?
I'm a Virgo moon.
Your Virgo moon. Gemini rising, Virgo moon, seventh house moon. Ooh,
And Aquarius
interpersonal
sun. My
relation.
birthday is this month too. So
Yeah, an Aquarius sun. I
Happy
knew.
early birthday.
Yes, happy early birth. Oh, that's and also I think it's beautiful. And this is a question maybe for both of y'all because I think you both know more about astrocartography than me. But like when you're looking at your chart, is the moon because I know the moon is your home and like how
mhm.
you kind of see yourself more. Is that also the strongest sign? Like when you're looking at what goes through what? Like is it usually your moon or is it your sun? Is it all of it?
It's
I like
usually
to
where
say
your
that there's
emotions take place.
Yes. Your moon is your emotional core.
Yeah.
It is how you experience and how you express your feelings.
Okay.
People like to say that for kids, like especially smaller kids, they are the full embodiment of their moon signs because
Mhm.
they don't have the
The
thoughts yet. They
filter.
have
Yeah.
only the emotions.
And my
So
Yeah.
son
it's
is an
your
Aquarius
emotion.
moon.
Sorry.
My
Aquarius
son
moon.
is an Aquarius moon.
Oh, an Aquarius moon with a Gemini rising. Honestly, what a vibe. I love an airy house.
Very
I'm a
airy.
Libra sun, Aquarius rising. I love an airy space. Um, yeah. So, and when it comes to the home, um, yeah, it's your emotional center. So when you kind of find where your moon sign is, it can bring more of a homey, more of an emotional connection to the
Yeah.
ground beneath you. And that also comes with like different personalities, right? Like there's four personalities, I have to say, of each line. So I'm curious, Kayleen, do you know if it's like your moon ascendant, descendant, uh ICMC?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that part.
Don't even worry about it. See, this is I'm hyperfixated.
Shane is going all the way geek. I was like,
Yeah.
Kayleen, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either. So good for you. But no, that is and I know as soon as Shayna saw and we were like, editing the piece or whatever, she was like, oh, astrocartography. We have to go. I was like, okay, we have to go in. Maybe we'll do a full other one later.
Mhm.
But I do think like what would you say, because you mentioned a lot of the elements that went into picking and choosing Thailand and all of that, but was there one thing that or at one point where you're like, yes, I'm officially fucking doing this?
Yes, it's just the emotional and the spiritual aspect that I feel attached to it for.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm,
The spiritual aspect when it comes to moving,
mm.
when it comes to Thailand
Yes,
specifically. Uh,
yes. I feel like
okay,
it's an assignment for me.
Mm.
okay.
Uh, you know what? I love that. I'm like, I'm really thinking. 'cause I think that you put it again in so many beautiful ways where I was like, "Oh my gosh, the fact that we just have these quotes and clips to like I'm gonna be sharing your words and like reposting it," 'cause it was so like taking me back to like choosing to go abroad. And I think in so many ways it is an assign it's like I feel the calling, and you talked about like the alignment and the calling. And sometimes when you do have those feelings, it feels like an assignment. Like in the bet where you're like, if you so choose, like take on this challenge, take on this assignment and like feel that calling. And I think of course with the wind in your back, with like what's happening in the States, it's kind of like pushing you to at least I'm sure try. But I love how you wrote about just the alignment and that spiritual and that personal pull, while also the very practical reasons to move abroad, especially being a mother and having your son. I think it's just like a beautiful mix. I'm just so glad you got to share that with us. Um, I was and you kind of mentioned this already, but what did you start about last year? Was that like when you kind of started exploring and like making a plan for moving abroad?
Yes, I did. And that's not my research came. Researching healthcare, researching like schools if I want to do a international school or do homeschooling for him, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Have you that's another thing 'cause and I think we're in the future going to do a full article about like moving with kids because we've also had Mia who was on as well. But how is that process just looking up like schooling in Thailand for your son?
For one, it's really expensive for an international school. So
Oh, sure. Yeah.
so I don't know, maybe I'll just do homeschool for a little bit and maybe I'll do that a little bit later. So
Yeah. Yeah, because then it's like, I'm sure the internationals and then there's like the local schools, but I'm sure the
mhm.
I
English
mean,
is just gonna be for international, right? I don't know, Shannon, if you know as much there.
I'm not 100% sure. I have one mom friend here, and her kid is in an international school, and all I know is that it's expensive, but you
Yeah.
get all of the fixings, but it is
Yeah.
quite it is
Yeah,
quite a
you
deal.
learn like different languages and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her kid is learning English, Thai, and I think Mandarin.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's also something I've heard of the international network because I have quite a few friends here who grew up in or like went to international schools in different countries, and they had like either their family were military or they just moved a lot. And so that's one perk I know is that like the international schools usually have more diversity in their teachings. Like if you go, there's certain like international networks, like school networks. So it's like if you go from one in Thailand, there's sometimes, I don't know for Thailand specifically, but then there might be an equivalent in Sweden, and then there might be an equivalent in France. So it's like you can kind of it's its own kind of international network. Oh, hi Kirby. Thanks for stopping
Yeah.
in. Um, what other question?
I would
Oh, I
like to ask
okay,
you,
go.
Kaylin, about you mentioned decluttering relationships as
Mhm.
you were in the process of moving. And
Mhm.
I think that that is such a powerful, like, this is also a thing that we're going to be talking about more in the next checklist. So I read that and I was like, she sees the future. Um, can you talk? Because that is such a it's such an important and yet weighty experience to
Mhm.
navigate that, and you talked about it more in the romantic sense, which also is incredibly important. But
Mhm.
could you talk about your experience of decluttering relationships in order to and what did that do for you? For you to be able like, what yeah, talk about your process and what it did for you in this journey of moving abroad.
Right. Well, as I grew spiritually and stuff, I realized that I was outgrowing certain people with certain dynamics and certain lifestyles. So I realized I just had to like focus more on myself and get to where I want to go. So it was hard,
Mm,
but yeah. So just eliminating the emotional baggage that from people draining me or like limiting me and stuff like that.
mm.
Mm.
With the limits and like the baggage, was that, did you have a lot of like naysayers or people like, oh, that's not gonna work or kind of speaking that fear into you during this process?
Yes. Because they're like, well, what if this happens? Or what if
Yeah, the what if isms. And I mean, like Shada said, it's a very weighty, dense experience, and especially it's like when it's family, when it's friends, when it's people you've known for a while. It's kind of sometimes like your safety blanket where you're like, oh, but we've just known each other. Oh,
Right.
we've always been friends. But there's sometimes a point where it's like, yeah, but if we're not friends right now, or again, if you're speaking more limitations into me than faith,
Mm-hmm.
you got to look at look out for yourself at that point.
Yes.
And also, I find that
I know that.
with certain kinds of relationships,
Mm-hmm.
as you were talking about, like the energy draining of
Mm-hmm.
it as you're in the middle of this really big transition.
Mhm.
I find that it's more clear for folks, myself included, but like folks to see it when it comes to like people leaving their like long term, like their husbands or long term boyfriends, and then they have their glow up period, right? Where it's
Yeah.
literally just them reinvesting that energy back into themselves. And then
Mm-hmm.
their skin is clearer, they're taking care of themselves, their wardrobe improved, they make more money. And it's literally all
Mm-hmm.
the same amount of energy, but just putting it back into
Just differently.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
you don't realize how much energy you're giving to other people that are just like doing whatever with it
Mhm.
until you're like, nope, I need this. I wish you nothing but the best, but I need this energy right now. And it sounds like
Mm-hmm.
that was a thing that you were navigating, experiencing. And dare I say,
Mm-hmm.
because, tell me if this resonates, but it sounds like once you started doing that and then you were able to take this energy, put it back into yourself, put it back into your son, put it back into your plans, it
Mm-hmm.
could be why your plans started to come together faster than before. Does that resonate?
Yes, it does.
Mm, yeah. The glow up is real. Yeah.
Lesson for yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, your alignment assignment is for you and others to not see it because it was never for them.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that is I'm gonna
Save it.
take a screenshot of that so that way I don't lose it.
Mm, mm,
All
mm.
right.
That's the next
Wally?
Wale. That I'm sorry if I'm just saying Wale because in my head I'm like Wale, like I'm really clapping for that. No, but I think, and again, this is one of the big things that came out in your piece, and I always say is that people will meet you at their level of faith. So
Mm-hmm.
if they don't have that much faith in themselves, in the world, and all of that, they're only going to meet you at that point. They're going to meet you with their own limitations, their own, their own scarcity, all of that stuff. But I think that level of like your assignment, like your calling, it's just for you. Like you're the only one with access to that line. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also a point of helping to when you're, leaving or decluttering relationships, like you said, it actually doesn't have to be that personal. It's not like you're a bad person, I'm a better person, I'm gonna do it's just very much like, hey, you don't have the calling, you didn't get the assignment, I did. I'm picking it up and I'm taking that call. And you have your own calling and I don't have access to that either. So
Mm-hmm.
let's all like it's really just I think that's just like it's not I always say it's not personal, it's drag because again, from my favorite show. But it's very much like it's not that personal. It's very much just like being mature, which I think is a next level and I think you have so much of that maturity. And it's just so exciting. It's so exciting. Do you know exactly where you're going to be settling in Thailand yet? Or are you going to be kind of figuring
Um,
it out?
just figuring it out. You have no idea. Not yet.
Yeah. You have
Do you
to
know where
keep
you're
us
gonna be
updated.
landing first?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. What
Are
do you
you
say?
gonna do Chiang Mai and make your way down? Are you gonna start in the south, make your way up?
Oh, Christine.
Um, Probably Bangkok first.
That's fair. That's fair. It's the capital city. It's also really fun. But if you quick things, I love Bangkok. I love Bangkok. I know a lot of people have strong feelings about it. I recognize it is a big city. It can
Mhm.
be very loud. It
Like a
can
New
be
York
messy.
City.
Oh, sorry. Huh?
Yeah.
Like a New York City.
It's like the New York City of Thailand. There are parts that are much closer to New York, New York. Mind you, significantly less crime. So much
Mhm.
less crime.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I have heard and I recognize that it can be overstimulating for people. I love it. I love it. Just want to offer that. It I feel like you'll know. It's one of those cities where, like, once you get there, you know if it's for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We'll have to I mean, I feel like at this point, there's quite a few I know people, interested in Thailand, so at one point, we're gonna have to do, like, a BBA meetup or something out there with all y'all. Now, I also hope to be there because I also am interested in Thailand, as far as visiting. But actually, and I think this was a quick question for Thailand as far as the oh, yeah, wait, the teaching visa? I know we had this from I think it was Tracy, so I'm just gonna go back really quick. Quick question. Um, Tracy was talking about what do you think about the teaching visa as an exit strategy from the USA? I believe it's only for a year at a time for Thailand.
Oh,
She was talking about just while we
so
were on that.
I I don't know if we discussed you're not going on the teaching visa, right, Kayleen?
What'd you say? Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the
Oh,
comment.
no, it's okay. I don't think you're going on the teaching visa. Is that correct?
No, I'm not, but I do wanna do the education visa. That's the one I'm thinking about because I do wanna learn
Okay.
Thai.
Okay, okay.
Amazing.
I know a couple people on a teaching visa. Um, do I know any I know no. Do I know any Americans on a teaching visa, any US citizens on a teaching visa? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I think as a get out strategy, I think that it works. You will have to I think it's like a year by year you might apply, or if you have a good relationship with a school. People also switch schools pretty
Mhm.
regularly. If you decide
Mhm,
that you want to switch schools, that's also an option. Um, yeah, there's like a certification that you would probably have to get, like a TEFL or something like that. But if you wanna get out and you're okay with teaching,
mhm,
English is still even though the United States is upside down right now,
Global English is its
English is
own
still
thing.
globally English. I do think long term, it's possibly gonna switch to Mandarin, but that's not for at least a generation or 2.
Or Spanish.
So,
mhm.
Oh,
maybe
sorry.
I think the
In
global
general of it. Sorry, I was thinking general. You're thinking Thailand, right?
No, no, no. I'm talking
Oh,
like so right now, English is the international language of business. I think
yes.
that
Mhm.
the next international language of business is going to be Mandarin. Um, I even though
Start
the
Mandarin lessons. Great.
put put your babies in Mandarin classes today. Um,
Mandarin. Great.
yeah.
Good to know.
Even though the Spanish-speaking world is I think the amount of people that speak Spanish is huge and growing. I don't know if it's the number 1
Mhm.
language in the world right now. Could be,
Yeah.
not sure off the top of my head. But the international language of business, Mandarin.
Business. Yeah.
But that's in the future. Right now, speak
It's
English,
English
native
still.
speaker, there's job opportunities for you.
I
Mhm.
would say
Um
maybe even more so because nobody wants to go to America to learn English, so they need America to come to them.
Yeah.
I'm making this up, but I think, like, in my head, I feel like that still makes sense.
I think it still makes sense for now also. If that's something that you're interested in, I would look into that. But once again, it would be easier for you to go through I don't know for sure. I think that going through a certification process like TEFL might be the easiest way to do that because once you get the certification, I
Mhm.
think they also help to place and connect you with different
Very
legal
true.
also.
Very true. I've seen teaching and most of the people that either like studied abroad, stayed abroad, and had multiple opportunities to be abroad were through teaching. And like Shayna said, like moving schools or even just getting in that network and moving countries even, but like through teaching English. So I actually think it's a very manageable exit strategy for you, Tracy.
Mhm.
Okay, we are at time because how did that
Oh
happen?
wow.
Um, we'll give a few if Kayleen, if you have like 5 more minutes to stick in, that's amazing. Okay, so if anybody else has any last questions for Kayleen, and we'll also do our last questions. Um, wh like, how do I have oh, I was gonna say because of course I'm Cancer moon, my Cancer moon showing. I you spoke about a lot of, again, like the decluttering and the emotional healing and like the EFT tapping and everything. If you could summarize, what were the biggest emotions that have come up for you in this process of planning your move abroad?
I would say mainly about leaving me and my son leaving without, like, no one with us, just us 2.
Yeah.
That was the biggest emotional, well, it's kinda still is the biggest emotional struggle right now.
Of course. Of course. Tracy, Cancer Sun and Rising Mama, are you okay? Are you okay? I know you just got back from crying. Because
I
as did I.
know my son loves his cousins and stuff like that, so it's just
Yeah.
leaving.
That yeah, well, again, I think that's sometimes and you're in the process now, of course, so it's the separation, but I still talk about it, and I think it's probably gonna be in that article, the liminal
You're
space
not
article.
sorry.
I am not okay. I get it. Hey, and we're not okay together. All of us not okay in some ways together. But no, I was talking about just like the survivor's guilt
Mhm.
sometimes of it all of like and you're in the bold step and you should be if we already haven't said this you should be so proud of yourself of just taking the leap and listening to the calling and to do it with your child. I think is like truly the most courageous and bold thing. If people around you aren't saying that, please let it be known that BBA is saying that to you, and we're so proud of you. And it is the grief of like, well, damn, I wish everybody would just come with me. I wish I could have that network. I wish my mom, I wish everybody could come, but there is the part of like, okay, I have to. It's that breaking away, but you never know the doors that you're opening through that, and you never know like the inspiration you're giving to other people to maybe choose themselves in new ways, to either move abroad, but to choose themselves and choose their family.
I will
And
also
I'm trying
say
to break the cycle of like strong women. Cause I want it's a lot of strong women in my family and like people doing it by themselves and doing it alone. So that's the main one I'm trying to break.
so here's what I would like to offer you, Kayleen, if you take it, if you will.
Mhm,
I think one of the most magical things about moving abroad is that once you take that big of a step and you step into, I don't know another word to put it, but like you literally enter into another timeline for what it is that you are experiencing.
mhm,
Once you take that step, once you make that bold choice, you enter into a new space and you create this like space of vulnerability of all I have is what I have with me.
mhm,
Yeah.
You, in my experience, it is in those times that you find the people. I'll use I statement. It is in those times that I have found the people that see me the fastest, that see me the most
mhm,
clearly, and that connect with me the most immediately. As long as I allow myself to be in that space of all I have with me is all I have. All I am is all that I have with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even
mhm,
necessarily clothes or anything like that. It's just here I am. And the people that have seen me that I have also seen in those times, we've been locked in. We've been
Yeah.
locked in. Immediate. I much longer story, not going to go into it far too long.
mhm,
I've had a couple of people that I have had the experience of seeing them and having them see me. One person in particular, the first thing that incredibly busy room. First thing that we said to each other, we walked to each other, didn't say a word to each other, and we both said at basically the same time, I think you're supposed to be my friend. We've
Yeah.
been locked in for years across different countries, across continents. She's actually going to have dinner with me tomorrow.
Oh,
um, like w- taking this step, it just creates another layer of beauty and another
yeah.
layer of complexity that the
mhm,
right people, because the people that you will see will be the people that are in a similar space as you, quite literally.
mhm,
Energetically,
mhm,
Energetically, yeah. They will see you, they'll see your baby. Other babies will see your baby. That kind of
Yeah.
it even connects in that way. It's so
I
cool
love it.
and so beautiful and sometimes eerily immediate.
Yeah.
mhm,
And also,
That
I do want to, I mean, everything Shayna said, and I do want to lastly speak on when you talked about because I think so many of us can relate to like the strong black women, strong women of the family, putting it together, doing what they can to and I think in both and I've said thought this and felt this of myself is like what you are doing is hard, is does require strength, does require all of that, but you are doing it for ease. You're doing it for a better life, for a softer life. So that this hopefully is one of the big hard things that you're doing. But I just again, I'm just so I admire you and I'm so proud of you because it's a tough space to be in.
Mhm.
And to not only just do it for yourself, but also what it's going to do for your lineage, for your family life, and your lives in the future. And I just am so excited that we get to be in a way along for the ride. And please, of course, keep us posted. And if we don't speak before then, happy birthday. And yes, happy early birthday. And yes, just like please continue to share what you of course feel comfortable with and everything with the community. And thank you so much truly for sharing your post and your article. I think it's already done incredibly, not just like, oh, with numbers and likes, but truly, I think having someone represented who's going through the process is just so beautiful. So thank you so much again.
Thank you guys for having me.
If you want, there's no pressure to this, but I just had an idea. Candace, also let me know what you think.
Okay.
On the
I was
day
like,
that you're
no.
gonna be heading out, I would love for like Candace and me to just like write a quick little note in the chat to be like, hey, everybody, wish Kayleen a happy flight.
Yes.
Had it already in my calendar. I was like, we got to put the work for the 26th. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we're
I
all
love it. And
cheering
yeah,
for you. We're
and we're
all
all
cheering.
cheering for you. And please, if anybody, I know everybody has different, spaces of how much they want to share online and all that stuff. So this is never pressure. But if anybody is in the process, I know B Harris and a few other people are talking about moving soon. If you need a community, if you need and want that cheering on, like we are that community. So please like share when you're gonna be going off, or share if you just need any of that support. So that, just like Kayleen said, that you're not doing it alone. It might feel like it in the airport with your son, like, woo, I'm at it alone, but we're all here supporting you in so many ways. So that's what it's about. So yes, the 26th is on the calendar. And we're just wishing you all the best, and let us know how it goes. And thank you again so much for sharing your time today too. And your words with us.
It's all right. Thank you so much, guys. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
this
much.
moment.
Oh, we
You
appreciate
have a
you, and thank
great
everybody on the chat. This is such a beautiful, beautiful chat and conversation. Thank you all. Keep the comments coming if you have any questions for Kayleen. Also in her article, there's all of her socials. So if you can check in and chat with Kayleen, also of course in the BBA chat. Shayna again has some resources coming up for Thailand. The liminal space article that was requested. I will be writing that as extra. So anybody managing this crazy emotional liminal space, that's coming to you too. Lots of fun things happening. Yeah, just
gentle
thank you all so much.
reminder also for everybody, all of the new folks especially. Encourage folks to watch the lives in the next 48 hours, because after the 48 hours are done, they go behind the paywall. So if you found this helpful, if you think another person could find this helpful, send this to them.
Send it.
Encourage them to watch it in the next 48 hours. And then it's going behind the paywall. Now, your payments would be helpful for keeping BBA up and moving, but that's besides the point. If for the folks that are like, oh, well, I don't have the monies right now, that's fine. You have 48 hours.
On the repeat. Yes, okay. I think that is it for announcements. All our love. Thank you so much again, Kayleen. Thank you everybody in the chat, and we'll see you soon.
Happy Black
Um,
History Month.
and happy Black History Month.
Black, black.
On that, blackity blackity black. Okay. On that, happy Black History Month. We love y'all so much. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Bye bye.
What?